been having difficulty sleeping in this space of this day. Up and down, sleep for an hour, up, can't keep my eyes open. Kind of like the insomnia, but except that it's more like I can't stay awake rather than I can't get to sleep, right? Reverse insomnia. But it's the same, it's the same with insomnia. It's like, you sleep for 10 minutes and then like all you're wide awake, you can't do anything, right? With the reverse insomnia, it's more like you're awake for 10 minutes and then you pass out for and you keep passing out, you can't stay awake. So, um, in this space, I woke up from a short nap, still kind of like half asleep, not really conscious or cognizant of anything, and I had a dream, and I'm reflecting thoughts about that dream here. I've been over this a few times. I really don't think that gender is genetic in the sense that there's a gene for liking skirts or a gene for liking cars. Rather, I think it's partly hormonal and partly experiential. The only serious genetic determinant going into somebody's gender identity is consequently the way that their bodies regulate hormones. That means that there actually might be an observable physical trait that I demonstrate that has something to do with things, which is the fact that I've never grown a single hair on my chest in my life. This is actually very rare. The categorization of apilose means less than 6%, right? So when you talk about, men with no hair on their chest, it's not literal, right? It means that there's just a very small area, or or it's, very, very thin, or very, very fine. I'm not exaggerating. There has never been a hair that has ever grown from my chest, ever. Of any size, of any coarseness, at all, ever, period. And I remind you that I'm nearly 36, and I take female hormones. It's not going to happen at this point, right? So how does it happen that I get to my age and I've never grown a hair on my chest ever? Like I say, it's unusual. Well, here's the truth. This is androgenic hair. This is its presence is triggered by the release of testosterone during puberty. Humans demonstrate lots of variation as a species, so some dudes release huge amounts of testosterone and end up looking like hairy man-apes, whereas others release a lot less and just end up with a little baby fuzz. How much hair a dude has on his chest is dependent upon how much testosterone is being released by that person's body. And so the really hairy dudes have lots of testosterone, and the less hairy ones have less testosterone. I have none. And so something didn't happen, right? In fact, it's even true that some women release enough testosterone to end up with a little bit of hair on their chest and faces too. Not a lot, but it's not that unusual for women to have some facial hair and some chest hair. It's just not unusual. The media doesn't want you to know that, but ask your mom. You've got a high chance. My mom is like Scandinavian, so it didn't, I don't have to ask, I know, but the fact that I've never grown any chest on my hair at all ever means that I didn't go through that testosterone flush. Okay, that's what that means. Again, we're not talking about a little bit. Okay, we're talking about none ever, period, at any point. It's kind of like I didn't go through puberty. And I can't tell you why or why not with any real certainty, okay? But there has to be a genetic basis to it. It may be that an environmental condition triggered it. It may be that the absence of an environmental condition triggered it. I mean, I guess I could have drank lots of bisphenol, I don't remember, but it's probably not that. It's almost certainly a genetic issue. I said almost certainly. Maybe the place I was living during that crucial period had a chemical leak, and it was flush with estrogen, and I didn't know it, and nobody's ever tested it and found it. We're stretching here. It's almost certainly genetic. And you can note that my dad was a typical hairy Italian Jew. Very hairy. He was a man-ape. All the guys on my dad's side are very hairy. There really aren't any guys on my mom's side. My mom has 2 sisters. But I think this is one, like, this is, if you want to look for genetics, and I've actually pointed this out a couple of times here already, it's got to have something to do with that, okay? It's overly facile, it's not that easy. It's at most one of multiple factors, but if I was a geneticist, that's where I'd be looking for, okay? The genes that regulate hormone release during puberty. It may not be enough, but I mean, I'm kind of skeptical, this idea that you can take a 4-year-old and determine their gender identity. I think that's insane, right? I don't think that we can really talk about, transsexuality in a meaningful sense unless we're talking about it. People transitioning in their teens, right? As an aside, that makes the issue reducible to a hormonal imbalance. And the treatment of hormone therapy rational. But it also means that the ultimate truth here is that I very much had a choice in correcting the imbalance. And that's what the dream is about. I could have equally well chosen to pop testosterone pills. But I didn't. Right? I made the choice that I made based on the experiences I had had. But to understand the issue as a hormonal imbalance, or something misfiring, or just hormones fucking up one way, however you want to articulate that, means that there's 2 choices, right? And you can't avoid that. If the cause is hormonal error, then you can either reverse it or exaggerate it. And that is a real choice. And it has to be, that choice, well, I actually do have a memory of making that choice. Is that universal? A lot of people may not really contemplate that choice, right? But you can't avoid it, and the decision that you make, if you make a decision, like I say, maybe not everybody consciously has that choice, but whatever decision comes out of it has to be based on your experiences. It's a slightly different mindset, but I'm sorry, I think I have a better point of view than somebody that's never been through anything like this.